thought maybe a good idea to get that springtime garden blooming, so we sent Dawn to Art Knapps for the live eye this morning.
Exactly, and nothing says spring more than being out here at Art Knapp. And you know, maybe you're just getting your green thumb started. So are you considering an annual or a perennial? Well, you know the right one to ask. Just ask Wim. We're coming up with him coming up in just a few minutes. Feels beautifully spring-like here at Art Knapp in Port Coquitlam, and we've got Wim van der Zam. People are probably just itching to get out there and get their hands dirty.
I need some dirt on my hands, exactly.
But some people might just be getting started, and so when it comes to something like an annual or perennial, how do you know which to choose?
Good question, because I mean, some people like annuals, because annuals, the benefit of an annual, like a geranium, this is, you know, the ever popular geranium, it is something that is going to bloom for you throughout the summer, give you color all through the summer. Your patio and planters in your garden can be a mass amount of color right through till frost, really. But then they die.
So it's done, it's done.
Done is done. Whereas perennials, something like these beautiful phlox, they come back year after year. So why wouldn't you plant a perennial when they come back year after year? Well, you don't get the blooming time that you would out of, say, the annual. So you get, with perennials, you get like 6 weeks worth of color, and then basically they finish up, and you have a nice plant in the garden, but that's sort of it for the season.
Yeah, but it's okay. So for someone who doesn't garden a lot, because I don't have a yard, but I would think, okay, annual is great, it's all done, I can't mess it up, end of the year, I didn't kill it, it's dead anyways, right? Something like this, I'm thinking, I've killed bamboo, and I've heard it's impossible to kill bamboo, so
well done.
What do I have? Well done, I've beaten a record. What are the odds that I'm going to not be able to maintain these? Do I have to do anything special to make sure that they are blooming every year?
Well, perennials, for the most part, are foolproof.
Okay.
Yeah, there's not a lot of care.
For a fool like me, awesome.
Even you probably could do well with them, yeah. The maintenance and care for perennials is actually quite minimal.
Okay.
It's usually end of season stuff, you tidy, clean up, maybe a little bit of pruning to some, and there's so many different types of perennials. Yes, there might be a little bit of effort, but really for the joy and for the years of wonder of a perennial, then yeah, I personally prefer perennials.
Excellent. Well, you know what? If you have any questions, you can just ask Wim. He's got a book out, by the way, as well, and a website as well. You have a chance to win that contest at btvancouver.ca, and the subject line on your screen as well. Jody and Riaz, we got lots more throughout the morning from Port Coquitlam here at Art Knapp.
Beautiful. And always good TV is Dawn Chubet, especially when she's in the sun surrounded by flowers and talking about how our gardens get more beautiful. Dawn?
Isn't that nice? But a lot of people have questions. You know, Wim van der Zam has a great book out called Just Ask Wim, and you can ask your questions. We've actually been receiving some viewer questions as well. Wim, Patty, who's one of our BT viewers, says, moss is taking over my grass under my ash tree. What can I do to get rid of the moss, not to damage my grass, or, important for a lot of people, to harm their pets, harm their dogs?
Yeah, of course. The nice thing about moss control products is that they are actually a natural product. It's iron, basically, that is what's used to kill moss. And iron is also beneficial to the lawn. So using a moss control product, you're not doing any damage. You don't have to worry about pets or kids or anything. But what moss control does do is when it hits moss, it just starts to burn it instantly. Moss and iron don't mix. So you can actually use a couple different types of moss control products. There's a liquid, so that you just spray on your lawn, and it will kill the moss without harming your lawn. And it's nice and simple and quick and easy. There's also the granular, but the granular one you can get with some fertilizer in it. So you can kill the moss and instantly feed your lawn at the same time. So as the moss kind of starts to die away, turn black, starts to dehydrate, pulls away from the lawn, then the lawn has the nutrition to start actually growing and filling and getting sort of some good root growth so that you can establish a nice healthy lawn.
So is this a problem that's mostly for us here on the West Coast, or the wet coast, as people like to say? Because I mean, I'm from a bird, never heard of real moss on the lawn really so much.
It's a West Coast, Lower Mainland.
So there's nothing really we can do to prevent it per se, and sometimes it's just
be a
problem forever.
Yeah, it's something we have to deal with almost on an annual basis because of our moist climate. So the moisture, moss loves moisture and continual moisture, so moss does very well through our winter. Spring is when we sort of try to get it under control again.
All right, well, thank you very much. You can just ask Wim. You can go to his website. You can also pick up his book, Just Ask Wim. We've got a giveaway as well for you at home. Contest at btvancouver.ca. Subject, Just Ask Wim. Back over to you guys, Riaz and Jody.
Maybe you could just go gardening instead of watching.
Yeah, great idea.
The big wedding. There you go.
Yeah, I just wanted to tell you the worst movie I saw. First of all, I did not like Team America at all. Although I didn't walk out of the theater on that one. I walked out of Grand Canyon, which was the follow-up to The Big Chill. Walk out of the theater. It's got to be pretty bad, right?
I fell asleep on that
I know.
one.
I didn't like it. Anyways, let's move on to something a little bit more pleasant and timely. Of course, we're here with Wim at Art Knapp, and we've had a question from a viewer. Allison wanted to know, when you're starting a garden bed from scratch, what's the most economical and fruitful soil mixture that is also budget friendly?
Oh, budget friendly. Oh, well, that's simple actually. It's not even soil, it's manure.
Oh, okay.
To have success with your vegetable garden or even your flower gardens, you can't overdo manure. The more manure you use, the better the results will be. And it's really hard almost to overdo it. So lots of manure, and it's very economical.
More manure, the better it is. Too bad it's not true for life. That would work well in our industry. Anyways, let's talk about gardening. Lots of people, of course, maybe just getting into gardening. Is it too late?
No, this is a perfect time. I mean, some things like your cabbage and your lettuce and beets and spinach and kale, all those should have been in a while ago, but you can keep planting them right through till the end of June, really. You can keep planting all of those. But, we're just getting to a time when you can start planting the tomatoes. We're warming up enough. The zucchini and the cucumbers, they like warmer temperatures, so it's time to start them as well. And don't forget, I mean, there's lots of things you can still start from seed. Your carrots and your beans and your corn, all that stuff. Get going now. It's vegetable planting time, so the sooner the better.
Okay, and so now for anyone that doesn't have, we're talking kind of garden as a whole, but can most of these also be used for container gardening on the balcony or the patio?
Yeah, some do better than others, definitely. But I mean, the most popular, like your tomatoes and your cucumbers and zucchinis, things that like it warm. But if your containers are large enough, you can pretty much put any of those in containers and grow them on your patio.
And of course, people can just ask Wim if you have any of these questions or you need more details. You've got a great book out, information on your screen there as well. And we've also got a giveaway, contest at btvancouver.ca, subject Just Ask Wim for your chance to win. Lots of good information this morning, Kyle.
Yeah, some good tips. All right.
5 kinds of apples, 1 tree. Wim, how is this possible?
Magic. It's just magic, that's all. No, that's what's so cool about this. And not many people really recognize or know that you can actually get an apple tree with a Gravenstein, a Spartan, a Gala, and what else we got there? Oh, Yellow Delicious.
Macintosh.
And, all on one tree. And the nice thing about that is you can have these things ripening through the entire season, right through the fall.
I love it.
I know, it's spectacular.
So it's not going to be apple overload. It'll be perfectly timed out.
Perfect, exactly.
Excellent.
Nice thing about it. But say you don't have room, you don't have
a little smaller.
A little smaller, you have a small patio. How about a dwarf cherry tree? This thing only grows about 8 to 10 feet tall. You can grow that in a planter or right out in your garden as well.
Love it.
Or this little dwarf peach. Look at this thing. Only grows to 4 feet tall. Have peaches on your patio. How cool is that?
I love that.
And this blueberry, North Sky, only grows to about 2 to 3 feet, say, but you have blueberries on your patio as well. So it's a nice way to sort of have fruit right outside your back door.
It's perfect. Let's make our way to the baskets, because we got an email from Rachel who asked a question, who said she wants to make her own hanging baskets. What does Wim suggest go in them? And by the way, she has a sunny area.
Okay, perfect. Let's make life easy. You love this basket? We have these little packs.
Okay.
Plant all of this in one planter, and you will get that.
So you know that everything you're putting in there will go together. It's like fashion.
They go together, so you can get a sun-loving mix, or their shade-loving mixes, all different sort of stylish mixes, our artist series, to make your job really easy.
Fantastic. Thanks so much for asking answering all the questions, and thanks to everyone that sent them in. By the way, Wim will answer every question. We will make sure we get those answers to you as well, but he has a great book out, Just Ask Wim, and you could just ask Wim and maybe win the book as well. Contest at btvancouver.ca. Subject, Just Ask Wim. I said, by the way, guys, that he needs to get a theme song, so I had to get it in there somewhere.
I'm working on that.
Just Wim. Ask Wim.
Don's got the jingle down.
It's already set there. Peach tree.
I think you need a peach tree. I think I need a peach tree too.
Yeah?
Maybe we should get a couple peach trees and see how they do.
Yours will probably do better than mine.